Hello and welcome to another episode of The Rundown. I'm your host, MaryCatherine, and today we are talking Homeowner Horrors with our Taking Action team. I have Rolynn Wilson and Jakobi Davis in studio with me today. Hello, guys.
Hello, how you doing?
How's it going?
I'm so excited.
I know, it's going to be fun. This was a really crazy story, and Rolynn, you do these stories as our Taking Action reporter all the time. Tell me a little bit about how you got the scoop on this. How did it come to you, or did you seek it out? What was the process?
Well, I'll say definitely we get a lot of tips from viewers at home. People will reach out, tell us about problems. And it was around this time last year that we started to notice, Deanna and I, that we were getting a lot of tips about contractors. People would ask for roofing projects, pool projects, fencing projects, and either the project would never get done, the project wasn't done right. So instead of just continuing to present the problem, we were like, okay, what can we do to actually help people out and let them know the options they have? So I think that's really how Homeowner Horrors was born. So for the past almost about a year, Deanna and I have been working out, sharing projects that went not as great as homeowners thought at first, and also helping them out.
So this specific one in general, I'm going to pull up some video, was about shoddy pools in Williamsburg area, right?
Yes.
Okay.
So like Williamsburg, James City County, that area.
Okay, so you can see some of the images now, but you spoke to at least two people who had poor work done by, what was this called? Max
Pools and Spas.
And spas. So tell me a little bit about both of you, what it was like, because you could see, I'm actually going to pull up the photo of one of them. It's just a hole in the ground.
Just a hole.
And it looks dangerous. So I'd love to know how you both navigated this area and tried to get, I mean, you have to get these photos and videos to really convey this story.
For sure. I'm happy we're both here because you could definitely talk about what it's like
I know.
shooting around this.
I needed Jakobi here because I was like, I know this man was on his knees, army crawling, doing all he had to do.
Something about me, I like to get every single angle. So for this shoot specifically, I brought 3 cameras. So this shot is actually my personal camera that I use. And then you can kind of see in the left-hand side of the screen, that's my phone. And then on the right side, I had my other work camera. So I don't know. I try to get as many angles as possible, but it's always interesting to go out on shoots like these and see it in person. I remember Rolynn telling me that there was a hole in somebody's backyard, and I was like, "What?" And I remember seeing it. I'm like, "Dang!" Like it's a hole in somebody's backyard.
Yeah.
But it's always interesting to go out in the field and see these things in real life.
Yeah, and talk a little bit more about, I mean, sometimes you never know what you're walking into as a photog here. Like, it's somebody's like, breaking news now, and you have to go. So when you heard hole in the backyard, and then you saw said hole in the backyard, you just never know what you're walking into.
Yeah, no, that's true. That's true.
Yeah.
I feel like that's why it's so important to have good communication between reporters and photographers and even producers back in the studio. It's all a team effort, but I think I'm a little biased, but I think one of the most important teams is your reporter and your photographer going out. So just for context, we had 3 customers, 2 that we spoke with, but one had a pool that wasn't done well. One is this hole that you see here. And another one, it was just her backyard. No work was done. So I'm like, before we go out, there's a lot of talking that we have to do to let each other know what we're expecting, what we're thinking an interview could look like. So I'm always maybe sometimes over communicating. That's a question for him, but that communication is important.
Well, and I worked with Jakobi for the first time last week, and there was little to no communication on my end, just because I've never worked with a photographer before.
Yeah.
And so it came to be the day of the shoot. It's gonna air November 6th for our Veterans Voices special coverage.
Check it out.
And yeah, please watch. And the day of, I was like, so ready? And he was like, yep. And thank God he had all the things that we needed. Talk a little bit more about just that type of communication that you have to have in order to understand what you needed as a photog, and then also what you need as the journalist behind this.
I mean, man, there's so many reporters in this building, so many people that go out and do shoots. Everybody likes something different. Being able to work with everybody and figure out what somebody likes within their stories is definitely what helps. You know, like you said, it was our first time working together, so I didn't really know what you liked.
I didn't know what I
so
liked either.
I kind of, you know, put my own little flavor to it.
Yeah.
But I've worked with Rolynn countless of times, so it's fairly easy to understand the types of things that she wants, the type of interview shot she wants, the way she wants, you know, her story to look. And just working with her on the past couple of stories we've done, it's just easy to know what like that person likes. So it's very easy to communicate.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm pretty picky.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Super picky.
Okay.
Yeah, super.
Well, for example, I'm going to bring up our web story. I noticed that you like to be like in the story.
Yeah.
You like to have shots of yourself talking with people, which I think is so important for these taking action stories, because you have to have that element of the person who needs the help, right?
Yeah.
Could you talk a little bit more about what it's like to talk to these people who are probably so frustrated, probably a little bit grumpy about what happened? What's their reaction to you being there, the help that you can potentially give them? What is that like for you?
For sure. I like a good balance when it comes to the shots themselves, because at the end of the day, the story's not about me. I think I'm just there to show and take viewers along for the ride, like showing me going to the business rather than just saying I did, or showing me talking to someone rather than just saying I did. Because that's what's cool about TV, right? We have the opportunity to show what we're able to do. So I think that kind of helps with the storytelling aspect of it. But when it comes to talking with people, I feel like similarly, like when you're going out and you're not expecting what to shoot, I have no idea what they're going to say. But that's actually like a pretty cool part about it. I think the cameras, the lights, the setup, it can all be pretty intimidating, but my goal is always to have people feel calm and have it just be just like a conversation. It's unfortunate sometimes I'm meeting these people on their worst day or in a really tough circumstance. I mean, these customers lost more than $50,000 each.
Yeah.
And that's not always something people are proud to talk about. So I always want to make people feel comfortable, but also make sure that I am getting all the information I need to tell their story right. Yeah.
On the flip side, talking to the people who may be in the wrong here, what is that like? I know you reached out to Max Pools and Spas and you got a response from them, but obviously it's not their best day either to be in the spotlight of, hey, like this is almost $150,000 that people collectively lost because of you guys. What is it like talking to people on the other side?
Yes, and I definitely think if you haven't already, you should watch the story. In this situation, Max Pools and Spas said that they were a victim too. A former employee misused funds from the company, so that investigation is ongoing, so definitely check that out. But I think my main goal as a reporter too, I don't want to be one of those gotcha reporters like trying to just, make people look bad. That's never my goal. I want to hear every side and have the viewers, interpret that for themselves. But I think part of it, and I think one of the things I had to learn too, is just a part of holding someone accountable is being straight up. So I've talked to these customers. Someone has a giant hole in their backyard. What's up with that? Like, what's going on? Why? Like, these are people. Why aren't they, getting their money's worth? And what are you going to do about it? So another part of the puzzle where we're not really expecting. Who knows if I'm going to hear from someone or not? What they're going to say? If they're going to be happy, sad, in between. But it's kind of just being ready for everything and just being on a mission and getting what you have to get done.
Yeah, I learned that while Jakobi and I were on our shoot together, he also likes to be interactive and be a part of the process aside from just being behind the camera. Like he told me, and it was so reassuring when we walked in, he was like, I'll jump in too if I like have anything. I was like, oh, thank God. Because like I've never, being a producer, and I talk about this all the time on this show, being a producer, I'm used to like head down. I don't got to talk to nobody if I don't want to. And I just do my work and I get it done. And I've only ever done a couple like stories outside of that setting, and I've always been alone, so I kind of just go at my own pace and I roll with what I got, which is a phone, and so to have a second person there to kind of back me up when I needed help and to also be in charge of like all of the videography was so reassuring. Did you step in on this story too, and were you asking the questions as well, or was it more focused on like the visual for you?
I think Rolynn asks all the questions, but I'm more of the comfortability part. Like I'll make the people that we're interviewing feel comfortable. So when I was setting up our first interview, which is this house we went to with the hole in the backyard, I mean, it took me about 15 to 20 minutes to set up all my cameras. And, you know, during that time, you know, we're having small talk. Hey, how you guys doing today? You know, the weather's nice outside. Or they were like, oh, it would have been a nice day to, you know, have a drink at the pool. Yeah. So, I mean, it's that, you know, being out and going out with reporters, it's that comfortability that I have felt. And also going out during both shots, like to be able to, you know, communicate and talk to people.
Yeah. So, Rolynn, you touched on it a little bit. What's next for this story? I know you have so many things that you're following constantly, but what can we expect with this?
For sure. Well, with this story specifically, we're really just waiting to see how like the criminal and civil investigations and routes will take. But we're always working on homeowner horror stories. We actually have a QR code that will show on air. But if you go to our homeowner horrors landing page, you can submit your tips. Our main goal is always just to help people out, let people know about the resources that are available for them and the state resources that are available. But definitely expect more projects. I love what Jakobi said about working together, because at the end of the day, we're all journalists. We all have our role to play, and that's kind of what makes stories like this happen.
Yeah. As far as what's next for taking action in general, what have you got cooking? Can you share anything with us?
Well, another story I was just thinking as we were talking, we just wrapped up tax delinquencies. So that was a big one.
That was a big one. Big
if
one.
you haven't checked that one out, basically the city is owed about $31 million in tax delinquent funds. So that's because the process for them to get their money back stopped I think 2023 actually. So I think we're still cooking on that, still cooking on this.
That was a lot of communication on,
Yeah.
on that story.
Yeah.
I was stressing out editing that story.
Yeah.
But I think it turned out really good.
Yeah.
So,
Great.
if you haven't, you should watch it.
And Ryan helped out on that too. So
Yeah.
imagine, you have your two people communicating sometimes, but that story,
It was a lot of different people
Yeah.
in the background.
Yeah. Jakobi, what about you? Do you have any fun projects you're doing right now that you're excited about, or something you're doing today?
Let's see. Today I'm editing a story with Madison about veterans' voices. They have some MRI machine that will help veterans or people that have not only been, in the field, that have been injured. So that should be a cool story to edit. I'm excited. And your story as well, you know, talking about this 100-year-old veteran.
Yeah. It's so
but
sweet.
Not only is like telling the story important, I think, visually telling a story is very important. And, I take that super seriously. And it's something that's super important to me to make sure I tell everybody's story the right way. So yeah, that's what I've been working on.
Amazing. I did find the landing page. So you can click here.
Yes.
It tells you if you have a homeowner horror, and you can tell us all about it. You just have to fill out a little information, and then will that go straight to you, Rolynn?
Roland's the one to do
Okay.
it.
So it'll go straight to us.
If you ever wanted to get in touch with Rolynn, here's how.
You should. I recommend it.
Yes, please. All right. Well, I think that's everything I have, unless there's something you guys want to touch on.
No, I
No.
think we covered everything.
Yeah.
I'm super
Cool.
excited. We're super busy, as you can see, but
Yes.
always reach
Yeah.
out with your tips and story ideas, because we'll make it great.
We will. Thank you so
Yes.
much.
Thank you. See you guys next time.
Bye.
Bye.